Hey guys, it's FallenDice, and welcome to episode 13 of FallenDice Plays Better Than BuildCraft. Um, yeah, we left off yesterday getting ready to go and fight the big bad dragon. I suppose I should probably bring some of the stuff in here. If you're wondering why I have yet to upgrade to the latest version of Better Than Wolves, it's because Better Than BuildCraft has not updated yet. So unfortunately I can't be on separate versions of the game with that. So until they make that upgrade, I'm kind of stuck playing on 1.1. I'm kind of excited about 1.2, but like I said, until they make that change, I'm pretty much stuck where I am. So we're finishing bringing over the rest of our stuff into our temporary area. A few more things in here. I'm so glad that you're able to do this. Oh, good grief. Well, I brought extra wood. I can always... Jeez. I guess I'm... Well, it's a good thing we're about to do this for real now, because... I'm gonna need the space. Well, at least I can put this armor on, free up a few more space items. So while I'm doing this, episode... What the... Oh, are you kidding me? What the heck? What just happened? Well, that was the weirdest thing ever. Huh. I need to hurry up and make me a crafting bench. That is truly bizarre. Somehow I automatically activated my bow, which caused me to... I guess I didn't even really need to do that. Caused me to shoot my minecart with chest. That was really weird. So I still got those. Huh. I really have no idea what just happened there. And I'm completely distracted from whatever the conversation I was having up until this point. I am going to wear basic armor while I'm out there doing this. And, let's see. I'm going to take like a stack of arrows at a time with me. Shouldn't need too much food. I'll bring my sword out there just in case I do have to fight off any Endermen. And a water bucket probably wouldn't hurt. Alright, that should be... oops, I do need a bow. That would be handy. We'll just stick those guys right there. Not my normal... not my normal finger points, but we'll make it work. Alrighty. Suppose I could have... Oh, that's one way to get him to go away. I could have did the pumpkin thing. And I have seen people do the pumpkin thing. But it just seems like a... it's so hard to see what you're doing. Wow, I keep getting lucky right as I'm about to attack one of these. He pops up and I end up hitting him. Now my curiosity is, with this map, will the light go out after I hit one of these? Can I even hit this one up there? There we go. And it did have a light on it before, and looks like it does it now. So that's going to make this a whole lot easier to track how many I have left. Once I get to the end of this, I'll be able to figure out exactly where my left ones are. Okay, I think that's it. That was actually not really that difficult. Now I just got to remember where my my starting bases so I can go get my good stuff. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. Oh goodness. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to put some torches up where my starting area was. Boy, there's a difference between using that and my fancy axe. Yeah, that's him. Hey, where are you? Are you down here? This seems kind of familiar. I really should have did something. And hopefully we don't get blown off. I think this looks familiar. I came out on right by a really low, big fat one. I bet that's it right here. Alright, good job. We made it back. Oh, I should eat real fast. Still had 9 arrows left. Good on me. And lucky for me, I have 0 experience, so when I kill him, I'll be able to take full advantage of all the loot or experience he drops. Where's my good stuff? What the heck? Oh my goodness! Every single enchant I have is gone. Alright. And maybe it was because I put it in there? I don't know. Maybe it was because maybe I had him in the chest that got destroyed. I don't know. But I do know he's about to get toasted. got him. Get ready for the shower of experience orbs. Woo! And then I have to go back and get myself a piston so I can get my my dragon egg. Wonder if I just jump up from underneath while I catch him? Or do I have to walk across the I have to walk up here. I'll get a few blocks to get me up there. You can tell it's not in my normal spot because I keep trying to hotkey to where it normally is. And it's not there. I know there should be about 150 levels worth of experience here. That's not fair. I want my 150 levels of experience. Do I jump over? Yes, we got the end. I'll scroll for a second. Yes, I've won Minecraft. Yay! LP's over. Alright. Oh man, this is slow. What if I actually wanted to read this? This would take forever. Alright, so we're back. We're gonna go get our egg. So just to make sure it doesn't accidentally drop in this goo that appears to have stolen my XP, we'll go ahead and lay a protective covering. And I bet you I still need a few more. I do. Yay! Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get myself together, figure out how we're going to move ahead now. And then when I'm ready to start building, I'll come back. So we're back. Did a couple little tweaks. This is the direction that my minecart is going to head out, going towards my future Enderman Farm. Again, even without the dragon, it still needs to be a ways away from here so that we don't lose any of our spawns to the natural Enderman spawning over here. Brought in a few more minecart storage units and just chests and everything. Added, brought some more supplies over. Put a little kind of enclosure here just for twofold. One, to make it easier to find the area. Not that I need much help now with that. And then I went and made it easier to get up to my platform here. And then I took obsidian and dropped it all the way down, kind of like the towers over there, so it kind of fits in. So, yeah, so that's where we are. What I plan on doing over here is to start moving downwards. I know with Anvil, and once this gets converted to 1.2, we'll be able to go like a lot higher. Actually, by the way, that's my crafting table. I know we'll be able to go a lot higher, but the issue is I don't know when that's going to happen. And in addition, it's, why not go down a little bit more? So the easy part to go down is going to be the initials area where, if you can see with my mini-map, I still have a little ways to go before I get off into the air. Once I get to air, then I'm going to need a water bucket. And the way that'll happen is, place water on the block in front, fall into the stream, aim up as I'm going down, and place place a block underneath the one that I just did, which will give me the ability to put one out in front of it. And as you keep backing up, the water will keep going down the steps, and you can make it a ways down. Of course, at that point, I will be getting rid of all my armor and everything, and all I will have probably is like a half a stack of obsidian and my water bucket, just so if I fall off and die, I don't lose a lot. and we'll end up taking it down. I'm thinking, I don't know how far we'll go. The other cool part about this, I mean, yes, it does give me more build height though, but it looks cool. You know, we take off on our minecart station here, and then we start going down, and as you go down, you'll be able to see the entire Ender Farm in the distance as we approach it. Um, DocM did like a big giant Enderman pixel art on the front of it. I don't think I'm going to do a giant pixel art, but I may put something on the front of it, and I may do some interest, find some way of trying to decorate it to make it look cool. So as you're approaching it, it's just going to look pretty, impressive. And similar to what he did, we'll have to have some kind of uh, entry station, as we first get there, and then pathways heading over towards it. That's going to be the different part. Obviously the trap itself is going to be very similar to what he did. So I got to try. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. And like he said, he's an actual engineer, and he said, in engineering, it's not about coming up with new ideas. It's taking an idea and making it better. And while I'm probably not going to try and probably improve on his idea, I can at least change how it looks and give it my own little flair. Now, my main goal is to drop down maybe 20 or 30 levels, get a platform that does that at least 3 wide. We'll have the track down the middle, but I'd like to have some kind of safety fence on either side. Not that I need it, but I think it'll just look cool. I'll have to decide what material I want to do that with. And then once we get down to the level we want, take it out far enough ahead that we're away from any spawning issues, and then we'll just start building a very, very large platform on which to build everything. And I'll probably build my platform out of like something that I don't care about, so that once I map out where things are going to go, then I can just kind of go through and chop the rest of it, and it'll fall into the void, and it'll take up less of a footprint. But while I'm designing it, at least I'll have a large area to do this. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start digging. I'm going to get rid of most of my important goodies so I don't drop. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to drop the bone and the planters and stuff. I'm thinking of doing some type of, trees and stuff out there to give it a nice, interesting, natural look as well. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of everything but what I need. And then we'll go ahead and start the project. Alright, so I'll show this real quick before I get killed again. The trick to doing this, you saw as I just filled this one in. Go ahead and retake the water, put it on your bottom step. Put your cursor over the block that you're going to be not caring about. It won't be one you'll be seeing anymore. Fall back into the water flow. As you get up towards here, put that dead block underneath our obsidian. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back up on top, get rid of the water, come over the edge, and drop the block. So, in case you were ever wondering how you would take blocks down when you actually have nothing out over you or underneath you, this is the way to do it. It's actually a little a little freaky. Yeah, I won't lie. Whoa. Yeah, more than a couple times. It's the movements aren't what you're normally used to, so you tend to go the wrong direction, and luckily physics don't really apply to Minecraft, and you're actually able to change directions in midair and then go back towards the water. So anyway, I am just going to continue. I'm going to bring this down, I think, to level 20, so I've got about 18 more of these to go. So I will do that, and then I will be back. I feel like I'm an episode of Star Trek. But we have made it. I only died 2 more times. But we are down to level 20. So now the the goal will be to widen this out, just because I'm not a big fan of one wide pathways over certain depth. So we'll go ahead and make this 3 wide. I'm not going to put fencing in yet, just because I haven't decided exactly how I want to fence everything in. And then after that, I'm gonna go out. Actually, I'll see how far I need to be, because I know there's an actual answer, but we'll find out exactly how far away I need to be from this area to prevent that to affect my spawning, and then we'll start that platform. Alright, so I did some looking, and while I didn't find the exact answer and didn't want to spend a ton of time doing it, it did say that Enderman can see players from a distance of 64 blocks. So I'm going to assume that 64 blocks is at least a good starting point. So since right now we're here at what? Call this. It's at 140 right here. Let's see. I think we'll figure the edge of my property probably starts. 130 is up there. So 130. If we go 100 blocks, we'll get to 230. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to go to 230. We'll go 100 blocks away, just to be safe. And seeing as we'll be taking the cart, it's not like it's super far distance to travel. So, and better safe than sorry. I would much rather have to travel a little bit longer than to start building things and then realize that I'm still too close and the spawn from over here is affecting our farm. So I'm gonna make this all the way out. When I dare, I'll get back. We'll widen this to 3 again, and then we'll start building our platform. I still haven't decided what to make it out of. I'll see what I have a lot of. I probably actually have a ton of cobble due to my quarry, so we'll probably just make it out of cobble. That sounds like a good answer. Alright, I'll see you in a few. FYI, while you're doing this, don't forget light. It was an interesting trek back across this, because by the time I got to the end of this, I already had Endermen spawning on my little one wide pathway. And of course I didn't bring a weapon, so I'm playing, chicken, trying to push him off the edge, trying to get him to move enough for me to get back, pick up a weapon. Then I came back out and put out my torches, so yeah, word to the wise, light it up. Alright, so I think I decided what I'm going to use for my safety rails. We're going to go ahead and do something I did on my my SMP village that I'd made for MC schematics. I used the glass panes as this nice little walk rail on my little village I'd done. So let's see if we. It may take me a little bit, but as long as we keep going like this, yep. It'll look better, especially too once it gets down to the lower levels, but this should. Okay, good. I'm like, this should keep me safe. And as a matter of fact, it does. Alright, so I think it looks kind of cool actually here. Get it going up to the same height as the other ones there. It actually ended up being easier coming up than it had been going down. But I think it gives it a kind of cool look. And it's very safe. No falling off the edges. So it does the purpose of a fence, but it's a different type of fence. And I'm thinking too maybe of changing the material, keeping obsidian down the center for the where the rail's going across, and maybe sandstone, so I can do. Actually, is there sandstone steps? Alright, so I do want to change the texture and the look of this. So here are my two choices, because I want to use something that has steps so that I can walk if I forget my minecart or for whatever reason. That way I don't have to actually kind of jump up the stairs to the right and the left. I can just run up and down. So that leaves me with brick, netherrack, um, stone brick, and these are the two that I was the most interested in. And I think this is the one I like the most. And considering that you get to the end by going through a stronghold that's made with the stone brick and different versions of it, I think it kind of fits as well. And it looks good with the glass panes and the railing. So I'm going to go back, get a bit more stone, make some more stone brick, and I think that's what we'll do. And it's too bad I already laid down all that obsidian. I'm not going to mine it out, so I'll probably just have to put another layer on top of what we already have. So, be one level above 20. Alright, so we are sufficiently far away. I also realized that I can basically just come onto the side here and place torches, and the light level is actually adequate enough, so I was able to put those every 4 across here, and now I don't have to be okay with having torches here. I may actually go back and get rid of those obsidians come up the side, because I can probably do that on the side as well. But that's for another time. So here's going to be my welcome center. So probably in the middle will be my enchanting room. And then we'll have chests going around the outside, because I will be getting quite a few ender pearls. And while I really won't need to use that many, I think the impact of, say, 3 high chests going around the outside and going around the enchanting room, and maybe even some trees and some things, and I'll decorate it. It's definitely bigger than this needs to be, but I'm trying to go that route. I want kind of over the top, to kind of make it differently. And then, of course, as we go down here, this will be the exit into the actual Ender Farm. And this is the footprint of the Ender Farm. If you've seen Etho's version, and his is cool in the fact that it becomes so large. As he every ring he adds exponentially increases the size of it, and it just this insane craziness, and it's cool. But once you start getting large, it's kind of hard to get the experience out of it, because first he had to flood the whole thing with lava, and then he had to go through and pour water over it to. I think he might have did water and then put the lava at the top. Either way, it was a pain for him to raise it up the one level it required for him to make it so it was an experience farm. But then once he did that, there was no option of going back to just killing them. It was now just an experience farm. The cool part about this, and I'm gonna have to go lower here, but this center here is where all of the Endermen will drop. Have a switch like right over here, and it powers pistons that are underneath these blocks. When they're in the drop position, you kill all of them as they fall. It's a death drop. However, if you flip the switch and it pops them up, it then becomes an experience farm where they're all one-hit kills. The reason how this works is we're going to have stacks and stacks and stacks of these spawners going up top. And normally that would be a problem, because they would all be falling at different heights and you have the issue. But the secret of this one, and I will put the link in here for who it is, because I don't know it right now off the top of my head. Doc M mentioned him, but he got the idea from him was to put a layer of vines, or actually it was a couple layers of vines, beneath the bottom spawning pad. So no matter how far they drop, they all hit these vines, and since it's only 2 wide, no matter how you drop, you can hit them, and it slows them until they drop, and then from there it's a 42 block drop, which then makes them all one-hit kills. And then all you got to do, the ceiling here is going to be uh, 3 blocks from this level, which means that at here I can walk through it because it'll be 2.5, but the Endermen are unable to walk out of here. Well, actually, if when they fall down here, I guess they could walk out of here, but this is the death one. When you lift it up, it becomes too high and they can't get out while you're running around killing them. So you can basically just go around and around, or you can try and start here and work your way through, but the amount of Endermen falling made that kind of difficult. So yeah, that's the design of how this works. I think I'm going to do the rest of this now kind of off camera because I kind of want the reveal to be pretty cool. So I'm going to work out my material, what I want to use for materials, and how I want to incorporate water. Probably do some water curtains, some trees, and yeah, we'll make this look pretty cool, pretty epic. And then we'll come back. We'll probably take the cart from our spawn-in zone so you can get the whole view of it as you come into the station here, and then we'll go kind of walk around it, and we'll head over and actually farm some Endermen. As far as if you want to build this thing, I'm not going to do the tutorial on this because, as I said, this is well, I say Doc M, but Doc M's the person I watch, and he got it from somebody else, so it's not my design. So when it comes to things like this, I tend to not try to make tutorials on something that I didn't design myself. I will put a link in here for Doc M's and maybe even for the YouTuber that he got the idea from, so you can kind of watch how they build it and follow along with that. Then of course, if you always have questions, feel free to ask me in my comments. But yep, that's all you guys are gonna see for now, up until I actually do my reveal. So have fun. We'll see you shortly. And we're done. No, just kidding. I forgot that I wanted to show this. This is the prototype. I don't know who to give credit for, but for the infinite snow. So rather simple. It just takes 2 snow blocks and a pumpkin to make your snow golem. You don't need the dispenser. That's just a nice, convenient way to store shovels. Simple lever powers redstone into this repeater, which powers the block, activates this piston, and powers the redstone here, which activates this piston, which then pushes our snow golem through the glass into this block over here, causing snow to appear on the floor. When you activate it the first time, it also dispenses a shovel for you, which is eh. And then all you do is sit here and spam your right-click button. Basically, the only issue you run into is time and I guess wood and cobblestone, sort of. Honestly, if you're really that worried about wood and cobblestone, you have other issues because they're both pretty much infinite as well. So yeah, if you have a stronghold which isn't as close as mine turned out to be, this can be a great way to come up with a building material to use for your creations. As Doc M said in his video, it just makes it an ideal building material for the N because it's simple to make and craft right here, and you don't have to run back and forth. I don't have that issue because, like I said, mine's fairly close, but even so, I'm still like the way it looks, so I'm going to continue to use it out here. And with that, I'm not going to promise that I won't come back till it's all done, because I more than likely will come up with something else that I just have to share. But that is the intention, that I won't be back until we not necessarily maybe have it all done, but have something more cool to show. So anyway, I'm going to get to work and I will be back. Alright, well, I guess we all knew I was going to be back again. Was working on the Ender Farm. which, by the way, is turning out amazing. It is so much cooler looking than I thought it was going to be. Um, but anyway, I thought I would go, turn my quarry on, get some work out of that while I was doing this, and the switch was already on, but it wasn't working. So I'm sinking feeling in the heart. I head over towards my power plant. Power plant's fine. Coolant area, not so fine. That thing, for some reason, and I still don't know why, had blown up. Um, Luckily, the failsafe on the engines worked just fine, so they didn't blow. So I decided to look more into my failsafes, which really hadn't had much. It wasn't really a failsafe, so I decided I needed something better, and this is what I came up with. So as you see here, I don't have a switch at all. It is powered by this AND gate. And it's saying that with a red pipe signal and a blue pipe signal, we will get the redstone signal. It requires both. It also has a second thing that says if this engine ever goes red, it's going to send a green pipe signal. Now we come over here, and it doesn't need to be this far away. It could actually technically be right here. I just kind of did this as I was experimenting. Over here, we have two signals. First one, this is just to get power going to it. And back in the power plant, I've got the switch that gives us our red pipe signal heading back to turn it on. Right now, I just said if there's no yellow signal on, we'll get a red pipe signal. And since there's nothing to power the yellow, it's always going to be true. The second one says if there's no green pipe signal, we will send a blue pipe signal. The only way we will ever get a green pipe signal is if we're in the red engine, and in which case, I will no longer get the blue. So the moment this engine goes to red, it will turn off. No matter what switches are set or anything else, it will automatically turn off. So I have this thing right now set. There's no water inside. So we'll just go ahead and let this thing run, and then just take my word for it. When it hits the red, though, yes, it does turn off. I have put this back in my plant, tested it, and it works perfectly. So in addition to that, well, we also changed how I was running the failsafe back to my other engines. Nothing over here changed at all. The way these are still set up is these will only power when they are receiving a blue and a yellow pipe signal. Well, this one for a yellow. Each one has a separate color depending on which switch is turned on in the control room. So the first signal, the yellow, green, or red, will come from the control room. Blue will only come from the water pump. Now, when any of these are activated, the same signal that activate them is going to continue on, and it's going to head upstairs. So up here, I took all the signals. So you see we got red, yellow, green, and blue coming into this gate here. And this one is saying if I get either a red pipe signal, green pipe signal, or yellow, it's going to send a red. What that does is it allows me to use a few more colors on the other side here. So now we just have a single color coming down, and we still have the blue pipe signal coming from the power plant. Once it gets over here, it comes over, and here's where we use our new logic. So, to get redstone signal, I need both the red, which is coming from the switch in my power plant, and a yellow. Yellow is coming from this one here, and I will only get a yellow if, again, I got the red pipe signal coming from the control room, and I am not receiving a green pipe signal. I will receive a green pipe signal in the event that this engine goes red. So, as long as this engine here is not red, and one of the switches is on, we will get two trues, which will send our yellow pipe signal back in addition to and we now have power. Now, once we have power, when there's power traversing, this becomes true, and that'll give us our blue signal. The blue signal will then go back and will give us the second part of our required AND gate signal to turn on any of the engines. So those can only work if this engine is on and running. The other place this blue signal is going, it's heading down here to where we pump our fuel. It comes down through here, up into here, and we're doing the same thing. As long as we get the blue, which means our coolant's on, a yellow, which is coming from here, saying that we're not getting the green pipe signal, and once again the green pipe signal is if we're in the red, and a red, and the red is coming from here, because we only want this running when there's space for liquid inside the engine. So as long as there's space for liquid in the engine, we're not overheating, and the coolant is on, we will get power, and this will turn on. So both this engine and this engine are fail-safed right now. As long as they're not red, they will power. Oops, too far up. I'd try to do something for over here, but because of the setup and the way I have it, I need the colors to be able to activate these independently. But like I said, there's a ton of pipe up there full of water, so in the event that this thing goes bad, it should go bad well before those ones do, and that will turn off. Alright, so the good news is that my quarry ran all night, all day at work. I came back, it was probably about 19 hours worth of running, and nowhere near any danger. Kept going just fine, although I did basically deplete my fuel source. So it's time to run to a new oil pipeline so I can start making fuel again. And I realized that the closest one, half of the trip was already made going out to my original factory here. Or not factory, oil well. So I was able to reclaim all of the piping from there, although I still have all this excess piping that's useless now. And what I'm going to do is I connected it to my already existing water pipeline, and we'll take it as far as the water pipeline goes. Hopefully it actually goes farther than the thing, and then I just have to kind of take a small left, and most of the work was already done. I didn't have to do nearly as much work as I thought I was going to, which is really cool. The other thing is I've basically finished my Enderman XP farm. Unfortunately, until Better Than BuildCraft updates to Minecraft 1.2, it is a Enderman Pearl farm. It's not really much of an XP farm because, unfortunately, the vines aren't climbable yet. Until 1.2, I can't really climb the vines, and that's what makes the this XP farm work. I'll show you here in a second. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not quite gonna work. And boy, this is great though. We're right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. I'm gonna set this up. Like I said, it was nice enough that my pipe ran all the way there, so I really don't have to do a lot of work. I just gotta put in my my pump and my engine and all that kind of stuff, and then put in my fail safes so that I don't have to worry about it blowing, and we are back in business. And then I'll head over. I will do the grand reveal for my nice Enderman farm, and then we'll cross our fingers and hope that very soon they fix this so that we can use it for experience. Really, really hope they do, because it's it's working great, and yeah, that'll be awesome. So anyway, I will see you momentarily, and then we will do our big reveal. Alright, we are back and ready to finish this episode up. Very productive, but I have a feeling very long, and I'm thinking I may have to divide this into 2 episodes. But then again, if I have, you already know that. So, yeah, let's just get on with it. Let's take a peek and see how she looks. Bam! I really like how the panes look on here. Um, my little pixel art letters, which by the way, a D is ridiculously hard to make, although after I finally got it, it seems so simple. But it's everything else. Um, so we'll back up and take a peek at this from a distance. You can see we are doing very well on the farm. The first thing I did was my little house here, and I think that the snow actually turned out remarkably well, and even better than the wool, kind of that modern house sort of look. Put in lots of windows and a ridiculous amount of chests. I kind of sort of decided to let the chests be part of the decoration. Threw in some planters with little trees, little bonsais, I guess, because they're obviously not gonna grow. And then the glass roof, which I think looks really cool because it kind of gives you the ability to look up at the the mob trap. And then over here we have Charlie. Hey Charlie. I decided he did such a good job of providing me with all the building materials to do this that I just couldn't destroy him. So this is now Charlie's house, and I might even put a sign out here to say it's Charlie's house. He has free reign, can do what he wants. Over here is our enchanting room. Ooh. And then a few more chests. Yes, ridiculous amounts of chests. Never going to use them all. Though then again, as fast as this thing works, I might actually use them all. But I just thought it looked cool, and it added to the effect of it. And then, here we are. Our little hallway going through with the water coming over the edge. I decided to kind of go with water coming down. And being as this is an Enderman trap, it just seemed like a good thing to use is water. It's their mortal enemy. And plus it looks really cool. So we got little troughs catching it in all the places so I don't have it just kind of falling down over the edge, down into the abyss. And here's our killing field. Right now it's set to kill. When I flip the switch, it becomes experience. Well, it will once 1.2 comes out and the vines start working like they're supposed to. Right now it doesn't affect them, so even when they fall through the vines, they don't get slowed down. The trapdoor here takes us down underneath to our guts for the floor raising here, and it also takes us to our access over here to get up top to where we were building our stuff and to where I can show it to you. I went ahead and cleared this so while we're doing our little tour, you can see how fast it fills up. So here's our elevated floor. These all have 2-tick delays because going on either side I had 2 repeaters to get enough power to make it to this side. That way they all go up at the same time. Then over here I went with my glass panes for my fencing again. Nice, keeps you nice and safe, and I think it just looks really good, especially with the snow. And then over here is the only part of the entire structure that isn't surrounded by water, and that was just because I wanted a safer ladder getting up there with my going up and down for things. I didn't want to fall off and lose any of my items or snow blocks or anything like that, so I just went with safety. You see this part up here in the middle? That's where the drop zone ended, and then we started our piston spawning pads. So at that point, I went ahead and it got a little bit wider on the outside, so if I had let the water drop straight down, it would have gone over the edge. So I started it again up here. I'm sorry, I started at the top, and then I built another trough up here to catch it. So it kind of looks like it's all one big thing with the kind of a going around the middle. Also, you see we got the half slabs, and that is to prevent the light from my glowstone on my monogram from getting through and slowing the spawning down. Here you can see our vines, which is going to slow them down. Once 1.2 comes out, when they hit that, they'll all slow down, and they'll all drop from the exact same height. allowing me to farm them for their experience. And then over here we got just the simple stone pressure plates going into repeaters into our pistons. Each floor is going to cost you 50 iron and 150 redstone to do it this way. It's 25 on either side, and it's 1 iron per piston, and of course 150 redstone. And then depending on whether you've been farming cows or animals for glue or have a slime farm, it's also going to cost you 50 slime balls per level to be able to make these sticky pistons. So at level 10 levels, it cost me 500 each of the iron and slime. So I went ahead with my nice slime farm. And 1,500 redstone, which was kind of expensive, but luckily I had a huge amount stored up. Plus you can use the concentrated hellfire to convert back to redstone as long as you have a lot of gold, which unfortunately as I don't have a lot of gold, I just went with my reserves, but that is another option. So yeah, once you do this, you just basically repeat this over and over and over. The key is make sure that nowhere except for the spawning pads do you leave a gap that's more than 2 high. 3 high they can spawn, 2 high they can't, as they're all 1.5 blocks tall. That's also why I have half slabs, so they can't spawn on the outside here where the half slabs were. And if you're wondering why there's all these gaps going up, it's not just because it looked cool, but also to save on resources. Because as you can see, as large as this thing is, even with the free snow blocks from the snowman, still took a lot. So by leaving 2 wide gaps everywhere you possibly can, it kind of saves you on the amount of resources you have to use for this build, which, like I said, already is amazingly expensive on resources. But once it starts working as it's supposed to with the experience, it will be well worth it. At the top, I went ahead with the half slabs on the inside, and then I put the water behind them going down over the edge so that they can't spawn on the top of here. And like I said, there's 10 rows of pads up here, and I'm at 104 here, so probably about 109 up top, so I could probably put 2 more rows in, but I'm good at where I'm at right now up until they make one or better than BuildCraft 1.2 compatible, and then once they increase the build height, I may do some more quarrying, get some more resources, and then make it even larger so I can be even faster. We'll see once I can actually get them down to 1-hit kills, if it can keep up with me. If I'm having to wait for things to drop, even if like a little bit, I might go a little higher just to get it to the point where I'm never waiting. There's always something to kill. So yeah, that is the tour. Now we'll come up and see how many of these things in the time that we were doing our little walkthrough died up here. And as you can see, that is pretty darn impressive. I think we'll easily be able to get the 50 levels in 5 minutes that I was seeing on some of these other videos. So this definitely will work. Let's continue filling up my first chest. Eventually, I'm going to laugh if someday I have every one of these chests filled up and I've actually run out of space. It'll just be crazy. But yep, I think we will call that an episode, or episodes, long episode or a couple of normal size ones. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Give me any feedback as far as if you liked how this looked, any ideas you might have for some of my next future projects, or just to say hi. Give me a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already for future BuildCraft and pleasure enjoyment. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.